Good morning. Now we discuss about energy diagram. In the previous session, we have discussed the potential energy. We know that potential energy, it is a function of coordinate. Here in this figure, the potential energy as well as the total energy, it is represented as a function of x or as a function of position. This is called energy diagram. So energy diagram is a diagram in which the total energy E and the potential energy U are plotted as a function of position. It is the energy diagram. We can find some features of the motion from this energy diagram. Here we represented two quantities. That is, first one is the total energy and the second is the potential energy. We know that the total energy U is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy, or kinetic energy, it must be equal to total energy minus potential energy. Okay. So in this graph, the potential energy and also the total energy is represented. Okay. So using that two quantities, the total energy and potential energy, when we finding the difference of these two, we can obtain the kinetic energy. When we discussing about this particular graph, we will discuss about that kinetic energy. And we know that the general expression for kinetic energy, it is proportional to velocity square. So in all times, kinetic energy must be positive. It cannot be negative. So in this one-dimensional graph, it is a graph for the one-dimensional system. It actually represents the potential energy curve for a harmonic oscillator. What is the potential energy of a harmonic oscillator? It is equal to 1 by 2 kx square. Simply 1 by 2 k into 1 by 2 into k into x square. If a function that depend on x square or it is proportional to x square, such a graph must be a parabolic one. So here look at this U curve, it is a parabolic one. Then what about total energy? We know that the total energy of the harmonic oscillator, it is a constant. Okay. So If a quantity, it is constant over the position, then it must be a straight line. So this parabolic path, it is represented by u, and a straight line that is represented by u. Actually, these two lines constitutes the energy diagram. Okay. If the kinetic energy, we can find, we have discussed here, kinetic energy can be obtained, energy minus total energy minus potential energy. Okay. Then when we analyzing this graph, we can obtain some key features. One of that is given is that as the kinetic energy cannot be negative, the motion of the system is constrained to the region where u is less than or equal to E. Actually, the potential energy is goes from this one to this one, but the motion is constrained up to this point x1 to x2 because of the total energy meets the potential energy curve at these 2 points. One is this one and the second point is this one. Okay. Then the difference between these two quantities. Look at here. At this point, the difference between at this point, u must be equal to, let I take, this is the point 1. At this point, at the point 1 or at the point x1, the potential energy is equal to the total energy. And also at the point x2 also, what is the result? The potential energy is equal to, okay. Then if we take this quantity, E minus U must be equal to 0. Okay. Then at the end points, at x1 and x2, at the boundary points, kinetic energy vanish. Okay. Kinetic energy is equal to 0. And the motion is constrained to the region where U less than or equal to E. So this shaded region. Here, this is difference. This is the E and this is the U. Then this difference, that is the kinetic energy. Then when we analyzing the graph, where is the kinetic energy is maximum? Kinetic energy will maximum at this midpoint. Here, K is max. Because from this graph, here U is equal to 0. Potential energy is minimum here. So at that point, where is potential energy is minimum, kinetic energy will be maximum. Okay. In the figure, we have given the energy diagram for harmonic oscillator. We have written the potential energy that is equal to kx square divided by 2. It is a parabola centered at the origin. And because the total energy is constant for a conservative system, we know that for the conservative system, the total energy is constant. So E does not vary with the position, and it is represented by this horizontal line. Okay. And the motion is limited to the shaded region, as we discussed in the previous slide. The limit of the motion x1 to x2 that are called as boundary points or turning points. That are called as turning points. And we also mentioned that the kinetic energy is greatest at the origin and decreases as the particle flies past the origin in either direction. If we going this side or this side, the kinetic energy decreases and it must be equal to 0 when it is at the turning point. At the turning point, kinetic energy is 0 and the particle comes to rest. Then the particle accelerates back towards the origin with increasing kinetic energy. And the cycle is repeating. Okay, these features can be obtained from this energy diagram. Such a type of motion is called bounded motion. The harmonic oscillator provides a good example of bounded motion. The motion is bounded between here the motion mass m is bounded. It is bounded between the turning points. What are the turning points? X1 and X2. Okay. Then what happened as E increases? If the total energy is greater, look at here, if it is, this is the total energy. Okay, then the turning points move apart. Then the new turning point must be here. It must be x1 dash, and here it must be x2 dash. Then if the energy decreases, the turning points move farther and farther apart, but the particle is never free. In that case also, it is bounded between the potential U. If energy is decreased, if the energy is decreased, then the amplitude of the motion decreases. Then the x1 and x2 separation decreases, so the amplitude decreases until finally E must be equal to 0. If the total energy is equal to 0, what happens? Then the particle, then the x1 and x2 will be at this point, or it is at the equilibrium point. It is at the equilibrium point. X is equal to 0. Okay. Then the particle, if the energy lowers to 0, the particle will lie at x is equal to 0. Now we discuss another type of energy diagram. In this diagram, the motion is not bounded. Okay, here energy is constant, but the potential energy is not a parabolic one. Okay. Here in this case, we have taken the potential energy corresponding to inverse square law. Okay. Here, in the case of central force or the inverse square law, we have found U is equal to A by R, where A is some positive quantity. In that case, here there is a distance of closest approach as shown in the diagram. Here, the motion is not bounded for large r because U decreases with distance while the total energy remains constant. Okay, here, look at here. The graph of U is going like this, and U this side remains constant. So the particle is not bounded. Okay, when the distance is very small, when the distance decreases, we know that the potential energy cannot be greater than the total energy. The potential energy cannot be greater than the total energy because kinetic energy cannot be negative. Okay, we have written K is equal to what? K is equal to E minus U. If U is greater than E, K must be negative. It is not possible. Okay, so this minimum point or that position, it is represented by R minimum. Okay, this distance is called the distance of closest approach. If the particle is moved towards the origin, it gradually loses its kinetic energy until it comes to rest at R minimum. Okay. The motion then reverses and the particle then moves outward infinity. The final and initial speed at any point are identical. By collision, merely the direction of the velocity reverses, not the speed. Next, we consider the potential energy diagram for two atoms. It is the energy diagram corresponding for two atoms. Here it is an example of either bounded or unbounded motion. It occurs depending on the energy. Here, the motion may be bounded or unbounded according to the energy. For instance, consider the interaction between two atoms. The energy diagram for a typical two-atom system is shown in the sketch. At large separation, the atoms attract each other weakly with van der Waals forces, which varies as 1 by r raised to 7. Interatomic force. Have you heard about van der Waals forces in your +2 classes? Okay. So at large separations, the atoms attract each other with a weak force, van der Waals forces, which varies or it is proportional to 1 by r raised to 7. As the atom approach, if the two atoms approach, then their two atoms electron cloud begin to overlap, then producing a strong force that can be either attractive or repulsive depending on the details of the electron configuration. If the force is attractive, we have said that at large separation, that atoms attract each other, and as the atom approach to each other, the electron cloud of the two atoms overlap, producing a strong force. It may be either attractive or repulsive, depending on the details of the electron configuration. Okay, if the force is attractive, the potential energy decreases with decreasing r. Okay, and at very short distances, atom always repel each other strongly because of the repulsion of the positively charged nuclei, and U increases rapidly. And from the energy diagram, look at here. If the total energy is greater than 0, here it is the energy, it is upon 0, it is greater than 0, then the motion is unbounded. So the atom are free to fly apart. If the two atoms are free to move apart, if the energy is greater than 0, total energy is greater than 0. Okay, then look at the point where E and U touches, coincides. At the point, the distance is called as, we have mentioned in previous slide, it is the distance of closest approach or it is written by R min. Okay. Consider this graph. If E is moving far, if the value of E is greater than this one, then the point must be here, E must be here. Then at that point also, this R minimum approximately here. So the closest approach does not change appreciably as E is increased. Okay, then E greater than 0, the motion is unbounded and the atoms are free to fly apart. The slope of the potential energy curve, here it is a steep slope. Okay, so this slope of the potential curve at small r means that the atom behave like hard spheres. Okay, so the distance of closest approach R min is not sensitive to the energy of collisions. This situation is quite different when E is less than 0. Look at the graph. When E is less than 0, the motion is bounded. Okay, here the potential energy curve is moving, it is downward, then it is this side. Okay, then the motion is bounded for both small and large separations. The atoms never approach closer than Ra or move farther apart than Rp. If energy is at this position, it must be move between Ra and Rp. If energy is at this point, Ra must be this point and Rb must be this one. Okay, if this is the point, then this must be Ra and this point must be Rb. Okay, so it is a bounded one. If E less than 0, it is a bounded one and the atoms never approach closer than Ra or move farther than Rb. Say it is a bound system of two atoms. It forms a molecule. So this diagram, energy diagram, is a typical diagram for a diatomic molecule. Okay. Then if the two atoms collide with positive energy, they cannot form a molecule. Because if energy is less than 0, it will be a bounded state. Okay. Here, if the two atoms collide with positive energy, they cannot form a molecule unless they have to release some energy. They have to lose some energy to make their total energy negative. Okay, so if the two atoms collide with positive energy, they cannot form a molecule unless some means is available for losing enough energy to make E negative. So It is possible only if the both hit at the surface. In general, a third body is necessary to carry off the excess energy. If the excess energy is absorbed by a third body, it may be the surface. Okay. Sometimes the third body is a surface, which is the reason the surface catalysts are used to speed certain reactions. Okay. Then the surface absorb the extra energy. Then the atoms bond together to become a molecule. Or in some cases, the atoms releases energy in the form of emission of light. But this occurs rarely, and it is usually unimportant. Okay, so this is the energy diagram for a diatomic molecule. And this is important in your higher classes because you have to study a lot of about diatomic molecule in spectroscopies, atomic and molecular spectroscopies. So this is the structure of energy diagram for a diatomic molecule. If the total energy is greater than 0, the motion is unbounded, and if the energy is less than 0, it is bounded. Now we going to the stability analysis. When we discussing the topic potential energy and forces, we have obtained the result F is equal to minus du divided by dx. Okay. What is the need of that result? This makes it possible to calculate the force from a non-potential energy function. In addition, this result is also helpful for visualizing the stability of a system from the diagram of potential energy. Here in this diagram, the total energy is not shown. It is only the potential energy. So according to this shape, this potential energy is corresponding for what? It looks like a parabola. Then surely it is for linear harmonic oscillator. So consider the case of harmonic oscillator where the potential energy U is equal to half kx square or kx square divided by 2. It is described by the parabola. Here, look at the point A. At the point A, du by dx greater than 0. How can we find du by dx from this graph? have you mentioned? Have you noticed the physical significance of derivative in your +2 classes? Okay, just look at this graph at this point. Any point here? Okay, if this point A and this point B. Okay, actually, to find du by dx, it is also equivalent to delta u by delta x when, according to calculus, limit delta x tends to 0, delta u by delta x must be equal to du by dx. Okay, how can you find delta u by delta x? Okay, to obtain that, we have to find the slope here. Okay, if at this point we have to draw a tangent, okay, then this quantity must be delta u and this is delta x. And when we finding that quantities, we will be obtain du by dx. In that case, here we take this point B. I write it in this way. Here it is, this point u1, this point u2, and similarly this point x1, x2. Okay, then here we find delta u by delta x is equal to u2 minus u1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, here when we calculating these quantities, this is higher point, this is lower point, and this is higher one, this is lower one, then we will get it is greater than 0. Okay, then at point A, du by dx greater than 0. If du by dx greater than 0, then the force is negative. Okay, then what about at B? At B also, here we draw this one. Okay, then I take the same point, same u2 and u1. It may be different also. Okay, here for the representation, here I take the, and here line here, then it is u2 and this is U1, and here this is the initial point. For this one, this is the initial and this is the final. Look at here, this is the initial. So this initial point is denoted by x1 and the final point is denoted by x2, isn't it? Okay. Then if we finding this difference, we will get it must be a negative quantity. At B, it must be a negative quantity. So du by dx will be less than 0 and the force is positive. And what about this point? At this point, there is no difference in delta U. So at C, du by dx is equal to 0. So the force is 0. Actually, this is the slope. Here the slope is positive. Here the slope is negative. This is an increasing one. This is an decreasing one. Okay. Here the force is directed towards the origin, no matter which way the particle is displaced, and the force vanishes only when the particle is at the origin. Okay. Here this point is at the point A, the force is negative. The force is negative, denote that the direction of the force is this direction. And at B, point B, the force is positive towards this direction. Then look at, if we taking this point, this is toward this one, this point toward this one. Okay. Then at this point, it is at the origin. Okay. So we can say that the force is directed towards the origin. Okay. Which may the particle is displaced. And the force vanishes only when the particle is at the origin. The minimum of the potential energy curve coincide with the equilibrium position of the system. If the force is 0 there, it is the equilibrium position, it is the origin. Okay. Then evidently, this is a stable equilibrium. Then we have to know what is equilibrium points, the types of equilibriums. If the value du by dx is 0, if the derivative of the potential energy with respect to the position is equal to 0, then it is a equilibrium point. Okay. So C is a equilibrium point. And the equilibrium point may be, or the equilibrium may be stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. It may according to the conditions, or it is according to their potential energy curve. Here, this potential energy curve is corresponding for harmonic oscillator. An example of an harmonic oscillator is a swing. Then, if the swing is at the non-oscillating position, it must be the origin. If we displacing the swing backward, then after releasing, it will move forward. It will oscillate like this. Okay. If we displacing the particle or the swing from the equilibrium position, it move forward, or we can say that it must go towards the equilibrium position. It must go towards the equilibrium position. Okay. And another case, already the swing is rest at the equilibrium position, and now I displace the swing to the right side. Okay, to the positive x. Then what happen? If we release the swing, then it will move towards the equilibrium position, or it is a resting point. So if any displacement of the system produces a force that tends to push the particle back towards its resting point, then such a equilibrium point is known as stable equilibrium. Okay. Now I give you a example for unstable equilibrium. Consider an egg is balanced at one of its edge like this. Here it is the surface. Then this position is its equilibrium position. Okay. If we displace this egg from its equilibrium position, it will not return back to that position, isn't it? It will not return back to the resting point. In the similar way, here, marked here, if we displacing to this point, this is the resting point, displacing to this point, it will not return back. In the similar way, if we displacing to this point, it will not return back to the original resting point. So it is example for unstable equilibrium. Okay. Now we go into its mathematical details. whenever du by dx is equal to 0, a system is in equilibrium. Then the equilibrium is stable if d square u by dx square greater than 0. What is d square u by dx square? It is a second derivative. It is a second derivative of potential energy with respect to the position. If this quantity is greater than 0, equilibrium is stable. And I write the condition here. If d square u divided by dx square greater than 0, it is stable. And if it is less than 0, it is unstable. Okay. So equilibrium is stable if d square u by dx square greater than 0. If this occurs at a maximum of u. Okay. Then d square u by dx square less than 0, the equilibrium is not stable, because a positive displacement would create a positive force, and which would tend to increase the displacement, and a negative displacement would in this case produce a negative force, again causing a displacement to become larger. Here we consider the case of a simple pendulum to analyze the stability. Here a pendulum consists of a mass m supported by a rigid rod of length L, and negligible mass offers a good illustration of stability. If we take the potential energy to be 0 at the bottom of each C, then we see that u of theta, or that is equal to mgz, or that is equal to mgl into 1 minus cos theta. It will be available from the figure. Okay. The pendulum is in equilibrium for theta is equal to 0 and theta is equal to 0 and theta is equal to pi, not 0. The pendulum is equilibrium for theta is equal to 0 and theta is equal to pi. Theta is equal to pi means the pendulum hang upward. Theta is equal to 0, pendulum, it is the first case, and this is the second case. And a pendulum will be happy when it hang downward. Is it? It cannot hang vertically upward for long. This pendulum is made by a rigid rod of massless, a rigid rod of negligible mass, and with a mass small m. Okay. So it cannot be vertically upward for long time. Then at that point, that is theta is equal to pi. It is the second case, theta is equal to pi. But there is du by d theta is equal to 0, but the potential energy will be maximum. Here potential energy is 0. Okay. Then at theta is equal to pi, d square u by d theta square is equal to what? It is equal to minus mca, or that is less than 0, or it is negative, then the equilibrium is not stable. There is not pi here. Okay, so this point, the point 1 is stable equilibrium. This is stable equilibrium point, and this is unstable. Here's some potential energy curve representing the stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. Here, in the first case, the d square u by dx square greater than 0, potential energy is minimum here. Then d square u by dx square greater than 0, it is stable one. In this point, d square u by dx square less than 0, potential energy is higher and it is unstable. And here, the potential energy at that point is high and constant, but if we displacing the system from the equilibrium, its potential energy does not change further at this point. Then it is a, there is no, the stability is not vanished. Here this point du by dx is equal to 0. Here this point du by dx is equal to 0. And here at this point are also du by dx is equal to 0. And up to this point du by dx is equal to 0. Okay. Then here all the nearby points, it is stable. Then it is a neutral equilibrium. Then it is about the stability and energy diagram. Then I stop here. Thank you.